have the undisputed marketing mentor champ, Corey Disson. He has been on shows, live streams, podcasts, live events. He has knocked out all kind of challenges like being motivated. He's knocked out how you can grow your business and what keeps you stuck. He has thrown blows with some of the biggest heavyweights out there and still unscathed. Corey, welcome to the show.
Well, I don't know about unscathed. I got a couple scars I can prove it, but thanks for having me, Jeff. What fun, man. I can't wait to get in the ring with you.
Oh, wow. This is going to be great. Now, I've seen your shows and I've seen some of the things you've done, and you have kept people pumped up. I mean, and it's hard when you're talking about marketing. Sometimes you can get very dry in the marketing game, but you keep people motivated, pumped up, ready to get their day started. I mean, you know, your discipline show on Mondays, get people ready for the week. You know, how do you do what you do?
Well, man, you know, do we have enough time for me to answer that question? Number one, but you know, what I'll tell you is the way I approach marketing and running a business, I'd like to think is sort of a niche and a little bit different. And that even though I'm aware and I know a lot of the nuts and bolts and the X's and O's, I try not to get into the weeds with that stuff. We talk about it. You need it. There are certain, you know, mechanics you need when you do your marketing. But the biggest hurdle that I see, and it goes from person to company all over the spectrum, is that ability to show up day after day, week after week, month after month, the ability to be consistent. And, you know, there are lots of companies that have these tremendous peaks, these tremendous highs, or they'll score a big account, or they'll hire a great employee, or they'll run a great ad, but then they balance that out with a huge valley low, and they have a tough time recovering. You know, the way I was brought up and the way I was, you know, operated in the business world is you got to show up to blow up every day. You got to report, you got to get the work done, and it's being consistent over a sustained period of time that breeds the success. So a lot of the conversations that I have with my clients, it's about, well, hey, let's fix your LinkedIn, or let's go over this contract, or help you with your acquisition. But a lot of that is a lot of life stuff, a lot of performance stuff, a lot of, you know, that's how I've operated my life. And I'm real big on leading by example. I say, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. And I document almost everything I do on social media: getting up early, working out, eating healthy, drinking water, reading, you know, books that'll feed your head. These are all things that I think are important, that are often undervalued and overlooked. And I try to bring those to my clients so they can restart and re-rock their own routines. And that leads them to being more productive in their businesses. Okay.
So you really have like a ritual that you do, like you every morning it's okay, I get up, this is my routine. As I start my day, these are my routines. It's sort of like muscle memory at this point.
You can literally set your watch to it, man. Literally.
Wow.
Like from when I wake up, I mean, everything from the typical, you know, sort of mundane household things, from making the bed to washing the dishes to walking the dog to the timing of meals to exercise to getting my preparation for my coaching calls. It's all very structured. I don't have to write down my schedule per se anymore because it's so rote, you know. But, you know, I do document everything to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because when we have a pretty wide spectrum of clients, and they're ranging all over the country, different time zones, it's easy for things to get slipped through the cracks. So I do, everything is a ritual. Everything is a habit. Everything is a routine.
Okay. Now I know I can work on those two things, consistency, and I can work on the documenting. You know, it's something I know I need to work on. I've done the whole, okay, we're going to do this blitz basically of content, and you get a week, 30 days strong. And then all of a sudden life gets in the way and you might not hear from me for another 2 months. you know, and
You're not
then,
alone with that, man. That's
yeah,
common. It's
yeah,
common. And, what I tell people is, you know, this little guy right here, this is the most productive marketing tool you'll ever own. Because you know what happens when you take the cap off, right?
hmm
And you do like this and you turn it upside down and you press it against paper, you start to make words and sentences, and you can cross things off when you're done, and you create a pattern of accomplishment. And if you
okay,
just make that part of your every day, I have some clients where that's a big sticking point for them is sticking to a routine, writing things down, documenting.
hmm
And an exercise that we do is they have to text me a picture of that to-do list every day.
oh wow,
So I see
accountability,
what's on it. I see if they're crossing stuff off. And it gets to the point where they're like, I don't need to text you anymore. I got this. It's my normal part of the day. But it's those little
hmm
things that if you just kept track of everything, lots of entrepreneurs want to be Jeopardy contestants, Jeff. They want to impress you with their memory.
yeah,
You can't do that. Write it down. Nobody cares how
yeah,
much you remember. Because most of the time, when you think you're remembering something, you're forgetting something else.
ah, yeah,
Write it down. I tell everybody, write it down, keep track. And you have this journal, this track record
mhm,
of performance. You can, like when you're an entrepreneur, unless you're a carpenter, you
mhm.
can't go to work every day and go, look at that room that I built or that wall that I painted or that roof that I installed. You can't do that. When you're an entrepreneur, there's a series of, administrative tasks you're handling, you're rotating. If you just write them down and cross them off as you do them, when you put your head against the pillow at night, you'll say, you know what? I accomplished something. And you wake up the next day with vim and vigor and confidence, and you're ready to go tackle everything.
Okay, okay. So, in your experiences, have you noticed like we're in the digital age, the old pen and paper versus the digital tracking task, like task project management software, stuff like that? Have you seen psychologically where one has outperformed another?
Generally speaking, writing things down always outdoes the computerized documentation, whether you're using a program like Slack or Monday or Google Calendar or whatever it is. I'm
hmm
fine with folks using that. I put enter things into my phone for
hmm
appointments, but I have
hmm
it written down too.
Okay.
And it's just, there's literally, I'm not a physician, but I
Yeah.
do know there is some research to back up what I'm going to say. When you go to the effort to physically write something down, it
hmm
triggers something in your brain, which helps you remember everything.
Okay.
It sticks better when you write it versus you type it.
And you're actually, so far, I've asked that question to others, and so far it has been 100% everybody saying, yeah, when you write it down, it actually, you remember it more and you perform better when you write it on paper. And
It's huge, man. I got a stack of notes literally right here, like right there for the rest of my
yeah.
appointments today. I mean, I live by it. It's so important.
See, it's funny. I interviewed Deb Allison Lee, and she said the exact same thing. She said she always keeps a pen and pad with her and she writes everything down. And I was like, yeah, well, I keep my phone with me. And she said, yeah, but when you write it down, it just sticks better.
My
And
old man was the sticky note king. He was always a manager, and I remember just, whatever he take your son to work day, and he in his office there would be notes written everywhere, and he would write us notes as kids, make sure to do this, and it's just it got ingrained that if you write it down, you'll get it done. Because if you don't, well, back then my old man would have his way with me. He would,
yeah.
make sure. So I had incentive to make sure things got done.
Yes, definitely. There was consequences.
Yeah, man, totally.
So cool. So you actually have the brand, the Go Get It. How
There it
did that
is.
come? Yes. How did that come to play?
So great question. And, it really kind of evolved, and it was sort of, it kind of happened organically.
Mhm,
When I started creating my personal brand. I developed the logo first, but I didn't have the go get it to go along with it. And I was just getting my toe in the water with doing video content. And my first dozen videos were just pathetic, but that's another kettle of fish. But I was doing one particular video, and I was kind of railing against a certain practice in the media industry. Like I was telling people to stop complaining and go. I was giving them an instruction, go do this. And I ended that video with just go get it. And then when I watched it, I was like, that's interesting. And then what really sealed the deal for me was I was watching a video from Sylvester Stallone. Now, go figure, I'm a huge Rocky fan, okay? and I follow him on social media. And I always noticed that he ended all of his videos with keep punching.
Oh.
And I said, wow, keep punching, go get it.
Wow.
That go get it is my keep punching in homage to Mr. Stallone and Rocky. And like I said, totally fits in with the brand anyway. And, you know, when you think about it, I've always been a go-getter.
Yeah.
Since I was young. And I'm encouraging other people to go get, you know, and pursue their passion, go chase their dreams, go after whatever successes they're trying to chase. So this fit. And I just ran with it, man.
Hey, it works. I was like, wow, that's a good one. So congrats on that. And I'm a Rocky fan too. I need to watch it again because now I'm gonna be looking for that. I'm like, oh wow, how did I miss that every time? You know,
he says it in one of his social media, like when you watch his social media videos, just him talking, doing a selfie video, he'll say at the end, keep punching.
Wow.
Like, man.
See, my favorite Rocky line is nobody's gonna hit you harder than life.
That's a real good one.
I was like, that is so true. He was like, nobody is gonna hit you harder than life. You need to get on up.
I'm a big fan of Mickey saying, I don't hear no bell. Get up. You know, that resonates with me for all sorts of reasons. But and that was the impression of Mickey was free. I'm just telling you.
Hey, Mickey was the man. You know buddy. That. Yeah, definitely. That was a great series. And I know, you know, a lot of people saw it for the entertainment, but it had a lot of good life lessons within the series.
And I'm really glad that they graduated that into the Creed series.
Yeah.
I'm a total Rocky nerd. I mean, you want me to stop flipping channels on the TV? Let me land on Rocky on TNT. Even with commercials, I'll watch it. It's fun.
Yeah. And even when he's teaching his son, you know, when his son gets older, there was a lot of good proverbs and life lessons in that series, how he was trying to mentor his son beyond just boxing and beyond all that. He was trying to mentor him. And, you know, you mentor more than just, I would say, coach and consult. You actually take the mentor approach when you're working with your clients.
Absolutely.
You know, how does that, you know, how do you develop, I guess you would say, a mentoring approach or a mentoring attitude, and then also becoming a mentee? How do you do that? You know, especially in the world where everybody's perfect. We're all just so great. We don't need any advice. We don't need any help. I'm a self-made man, you know. I mean, how do you approach that? Because mentorship is very, very important.
So, yeah, there's two things to unpack there. I'll first talk about and answer your question about how I kind of got involved with mentorship. Mm-hmm. That's something I've been involved with for many years before I put a name and a brand on it. You know, when in my former life, when I was running a national production studio, I started an internship program. And because I got my start because somebody gave me a shot as an intern, and it's very important. I learned you got to pay it forward. You know, you got to pay it forward. And I started an internship program. And, you know, when I started the internship program, I was in my early to mid 20s. So I was still the cool kind of manager. Right. But then you fast forward as you're approaching 50, then I'm the old, you know, the old dog. And you start to see how different the point of view is from a young, wide-eyed person entering the workforce than someone who's been in it and a grizzled veteran.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to show them the ropes and help them avoid the mistakes you made and the landmines you stepped on. So I spent, whether it was running the internship program or even managing, dozens of employees, I spent less of my time sort of teaching how to perform their job and more time on how to be a professional.
Okay.
That's a big difference. I mean, it's, things that you and I might take for granted, whether it's, if you're, early, you're on time, you're late, or communicating effectively with a phone call, or how you write an email, all those sort of basic professional 101s. Most folks, not everybody subscribes to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, I spent a lot of time either teaching people how to pull on the same side of the rope or helping them get unstuck if they're in a jam because they weren't productive and they were bringing the entire team down.
Okay.
And that came with, I was an athlete, in my younger days, and I was a personal trainer. I owned a gym. So I was very much in that, go get 'em Tiger space anyway.
Okay.
And it was just part of my fiber, part of my personality. So, I mean, now I just take it and now I'm able to charge for it, which is great because there is a need for that. And I'll tell you, as far as, the ability to be coached, to be, I mean, look, man, to just talk about boxing, Muhammad Ali had a trainer. He went into the corner to see Angelo Dundee, right? He needed you need that mirror. You need that, objectivity, professional athletes. Derek Jeter goes into the dugout and he would see Joe Torre, for example. I don't know if you're a Yankee fan. I'm not really, but I'm just using a big name for that example. So, it pays to have someone objective to be able to assess your performance and help you grow it. I have a coach. And I've worked with a guy for almost 3 years now, and we have a great rhythm. And, he has learned, kind of my language and I his.
Okay.
And I know, and he's been through what I've been through. He's like me on steroids. He's huge.
Okay.
And, so I'm taking some pages out of his book too. He's teaching me to become a better coach. And you just got to be open-minded to that. And proof's in the pudding. My business has grown year to year the past few years. And I'd like to think that guy has had something to do with it, but I listened to him. I didn't just hear him. I listened to him.
Okay. That's huge right there, because it's very hard especially when you know the words, you know the dance, you know the moves. So it's like, okay, so this is this, and it's pretty much a cliche, a quote, and you're like, hey, I've heard that before. I know, do this. I know, like for instance, you said you're a personal trainer. I remember when I had a personal trainer, and we would go in and I'll be like, all right, I know we're going to do some burpees. We're going to do some, but it was just, I wasn't there the way I should have been there. I would do the movements, but there's more than just the movements to make it work. And until I broke that barrier to say, mentally, I need to be there. Mentally, I need to do more than just the physical movements in order to make this work. That's when I started seeing better results. And so even in this, I mean, let's go back to what you were saying with documentations. Okay, I'm gonna write some stuff down. Okay, I'm gonna just do it because Corey's gonna ask me. Let me write some stuff down. Okay, wash dishes, scratch. See, Corey, I did something. I washed dishes. You're like, okay, you're just doing it just to be doing it. But
you gotta believe it. You gotta believe in it, and you gotta. That's all plays into being coachable, and taking your hands off the wheel a little bit. And I run into this frequently with clients who will jump on, and they quickly figure out that, wait a minute, this guy's going to push me out of my comfort zone. He's going to ask me to do something I'm not used to doing, and then all of a sudden, the person being coached is the expert, not the coach.
Oh, okay.
what I
Wow.
mean is like, and I say that sort of sarcastically, like,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to push through that, and you have to sort of earn that trust that that client can take their hands off the wheel and allow you to steer the ship.
Okay.
And I tell clients all the time, what clients fail to remember in the ones that we butt heads a little bit, or we have to get them, pulling on the same side of the rope, is that I remind them, I've seen this movie hundreds of times before.
Okay.
This isn't the first time I've dealt with a client, or with a client that thinks they know how to do it. And I remind them, sometimes in a very polite way, other times in a little more candid way, that why'd you reach out to me in the first place? The way you did it didn't work the first time. And I try to remind folks that I'm your teammate. I'm your teammate. I want to see you win. And it may not be neat and clean the whole time how we get there. We might have to get in the mud. It might get messy. Feelings might get hurt a little bit. But if you stick with it, and you'll say, wow, okay, I zoomed out a little bit, and thank goodness we fought a little bit to get to this point, because that's my whole objective, is to make sure that I'm trying to close that gap. It's like where you want to be.
Okay.
I'm trying to close that gap. The more I can close it, sometimes we get you all the way there, or we get a trajectory change and we get you a lot closer. That's the victory. Anyway, I could go on and on.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're starting with your clients, expectations is huge. How do you navigate through the expectations? Because I'm sure when they come in, they have certain expectations, and you may have expectations of them that you see in them, but they may not align. So, what exercises do you suggest coming into the mentorship? Say, okay, I need you to clear your head of all, I'm not in that space, but, clear your head of all myths that you heard.
Sure.
These are some things I need you to do. And like you say, it's going to be some times that you might feel uncomfortable, but this is going to help you grow.
It's a couple of things. I rely on two things. A, being very direct, blunt, candid, upfront.
Okay.
Even sometimes before the actual relationship consummates, as they're kicking the tires on me. And I tell them straight up, this is a process.
Okay.
It took you a lot of time to get in this situation. You can't reverse course in 2 weeks or 2 months, or even if you sign up with me for 3 months, it doesn't mean once the 3 months is over, you graduate and the hard work is done. That just means you worked with me for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I make it very clear what I promise and what I guarantee and what I don't.
Okay.
I don't say you're going to make a certain amount of money, you're going to sign this many clients, you're going to add this many connections, whatever their metric is that they're measuring, that they think that they're getting. And I also remind them that I'm not in advertising. Advertising is you go buy an ad and you wait for the phone and hope that for the best that people will call you. I'm in marketing. Marketing's different. Marketing is a grind. And I make it very, very clear that they have to be invested in that grind. I'm not doing it for them. Okay. I'm instructing them. They have to do you have to follow my instructions. I have these great tools I'm going to sell you, but if you don't use them, you're never going to build nothing.
Yeah.
You got to use the tools. So that's one way, is being very candid upfront in the beginning and reminding them that it's a long haul. It's a marathon. And also I'll let them know straight up front, the honeymoon will be over. The glow of, wow, I just signed with Corey, and he's going to say my name on social media, and I get to tap into his network. All that stuff's going to fade, and then the hard work's going to hit you in the face. So but then the other big piece is I remind folks of what I call social proof, in that I don't just tell people I'm going to help you, I'm going to solve this problem, I'm going to help you market. I show them many, many, many other people I've worked with before who have been in the exact same boat, and let them say it for me. Yeah. It goes a lot. I redirect them, because folks are constantly trying to compare themselves to other people. Yeah. And if they can see, well, okay, I did what Corey said, then this worked. It's not just me saying, trust me. Because as soon as
Yeah.
someone says, trust me, what's the first thing you do?
Don't trust them.
You don't trust them, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, trust me, I never lie to you.
Yeah, I'm
That's
always
what a
honest,
liar would
right?
say. Yeah. That's what a liar would say.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. So that's that, and that's very important that you have that upfront, that expectation, that trust. Just like in training in sports, most athletes don't particularly like their coach when it comes to training, but they appreciate them. And then after the championship, then they love their coach. But
I'm
during
living proof
practice,
of that, man. Living
yeah,
proof. Two men, and I don't mind saying this, I'm very proud of this actually, that two men that I still communicate with are my two high school baseball coaches, because they made such a huge impact on me, and they ran me through the ringer, man. I mean, they whipped my young butt, all sorts of ways, literally and figuratively. And
yeah,
at the time, I didn't quite understand, why you picking on me, kind of.
yeah,
But, I love those guys. And, there's a lot of them inside of me.
yeah,
Like they made an impact, and I want to try to give those gifts to my clients and my network and my tribe, because what they said and what they did and what they demanded made such a huge impact on my life.
yeah, yeah. And that's very important. Giving back is very important. Like you say, paying it forward. A lot of times we don't see that. We see I made it, and I love this. I love this. I don't know how I made it. And it's like, what do you mean you don't know how you made it? You did it.
You did the work.
Yeah, it's like, wow, it just happened. Yeah, nothing just happens.
Nah.
There are definitely things that was in place to get you from A to Z. But it's good when people share and they give back and they help. I know there's a lot of young entrepreneurs out there that are looking for guidance beyond the social media flash, and that's very important. There's a lot of old dogs out there too that are looking, they're like, hey, I just want to figure out how to do this beyond, I guess you would say, the social media hype.
We spend a lot of time talking about that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a common refrain. And what I tell clients is, and it's a tough philosophy for a lot of folks to understand, in that social media, we've been conditioned since Facebook came out, and as the new platforms pop up, and what we see, that social media is a family bulletin board, or a trophy case, or this family album, whatever it is. And yes, it can be those things, but if you're going to use those tools for business, it's not what they are. They are television networks, they're media networks to help get your message across. And you have to have what I call the give, get mentality.
Yeah.
You got to give, you got to push out value. You got to leak things. You got to, give a little free info here, a little free info there. Be invested in helping others, and then it comes back to you, and the ask for business will come to you. Most folks think that, hey, I'm going to get a Facebook account and a LinkedIn page, and then post up my little artwork for my product or service, and all of a sudden I'll make it rain. And they get a rude awakening, because that doesn't do anything to contribute to building your know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
That's what those tools are about, is how do I build, that relationship, cultivate that relationship with a community out there, and have them know me, like me, and trust me. And then once you hit those three things, then they buy from you. A lot of folks want to skip those first three steps.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, because you have the videos where a person saying that overnight I became this mega success. I love it, because sometimes when I'm talking to clients and they say, well, this person may have done this, or this company may have done that, I'm like, you need to understand where you are, though, because here's the situation. Prime example. If somebody comes and puts a stack of money on a table and says, I just made this with my digital product or my product that's e-commerce based, and they have a stack of money sitting on the table, first of all, be logical, because people don't pay with cash on those type of businesses. So they would have had to go to their bank, withdraw money, stack it up, put it on a table, because nobody's hand-to-hand transaction with cash. So that is a red flag to say this might not be honest. This might be fake, because that's not how it works. And then the second one, that always excites me is they compare to larger companies.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, Amazon's doing it this way. I call it chasing Amazon. I'm like, do you understand? Amazon's in a different bracket. First of all, Amazon has shareholders. They have use or lose corporate money for their marketing budget.
They have an unlimited budget.
They can literally go without a sale for a year and still be okay. You can't compare to that if you're working on a different model. And I've even seen some corporate big companies chase Amazon and say, well, we want to do it like Amazon does. And I'm like, you're a different business model. It's a total different business model, and if you're not shipping door to door and had a basic distribution network that's at every single corner, you can't compete with them.
No way. It's a behemoth.
Yeah.
What I tell business owners, whether they're a solopreneur or they have a small mom and pop shop or they oversee a large establishment, is when is the last time you bought something from someone you didn't like, know, or trust?
Yeah.
When's the last time that happened? And if you expect someone to spend money with you, you better build those things up with them, because it's like entrepreneurs are their own worst enemy, unfortunately, because they think that their service or their product or their craft is so good, so unique, that why wouldn't you buy it? Are you kidding me? This is the greatest widget ever invented. And look, hats off to them for being confident and believing in their product. But a big thing that big hurdle to try to get entrepreneurs to clear is nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares like you do. Get them to like you, get them to trust you, get them to have a relationship with you, and they'll buy whatever you have. It doesn't matter. They'll buy it because it's from you.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time. We work on that a lot with my clients, because they're very either creative or artistic, and they have this craft that they're really good at, and they just can't get past. They say it's the creative brain, I guess, the creative versus they can't get past. Well, this is the coolest looking, best sounding, best performing, whatever it is. Why wouldn't you buy it? Well, you don't know your customer. You're not communicating to them.
And that's it, really. They get to know you, but you get to know them. You get to understand them, and that helps you to build a relationship. Because a lot of times when you're selling your features, you're like, oh, well, this is, okay, I'm a car enthusiast. So this is a BMW. It has auto drive. It has this. But really the core of a BMW is not the features inside the car. It's the status symbol.
It's the
heads that turn when you drive by. That's all that matters. That's why people buy cars that are like, we always tease this. I say the Maseratis and Range Rovers. Everybody knows they are a reliability nightmare. They are. But why do people still want to buy them? Because they are a status symbol. They look great. They are amazing looking cars. And when they work, they ride great, but they're always in the shop. And so why would a person invest in something that they know is going to break down on them? Because when I drive by, people are going to turn and be, ooh.
Yeah. Look how cool he is. Look what he's got. He must make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what they're buying. They're not buying the car. They're buying the attention that the car gets them. And so as you start to get to know your customer, you start to figure out it's not about your features, it's about that underlying thing that you're selling them, that they want, that they know that you can provide them.
Yep. That's the reason why I have a business, quite honestly. I mean, because there are, I guarantee you know a ton more about the marketing nuts and bolts than I do. And there's a long list. I'm not the best marketer in the world. I'm pretty good. I do what I do pretty good. But people want it delivered from me because I have my packaging is different. You know, that's why there's 10 brands of soda. There's 10 brands of potato chips. People like that Doritos bag. It's pretty sexy. I'm getting that one, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I'm okay with that. I never tell anybody I'm the best marketing coach or the best mentor or whatever. I learned that a long time ago. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody thinks they're the best.
Yeah.
You know, so I try not to get caught up in that.
Yeah. Well, that helps. And building relationships is really the name of the game in business.
Totally.
You know, it has to be like what we used to say in corporate, good fits.
Yeah. Styles make fights.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Got to keep with the boxing analogies, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Corey, thank you so much for being on the show and spending some time. Everyone, if you are looking for a mentor, a coach, somebody to help you get there, go get it.
Go get it.
Reach out to Corey, and you know, you can find him at his website. How you spell his name is Corey, is CoreyDissin.com.
Correct.
So you can go find him there. He has also his live streams that you can check out. He has disciplines that's on Mondays, help you get your week started.
Yes, sir.
So jump on LinkedIn, find it, watch it, get motivated for the week. And then he also has another interesting live stream, Ringside.
Yeah.
Where he gets others in the ring and asks them the hard questions.
We're going to have to get you ringside soon, Jeff, because you're going to be a good interview, man.
I'm ready. I'll get my mouthpiece and I'll be ready.
Yeah, let's go, man. Got to get you breaking a sweat. We'll have a good time there, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much. Sincerely, I got 1% better today because of you. I appreciate that. And, you know, I will share the heck out of this for you. And obviously reach out to me if there's anything else I can do to help you or anyone in your network.
I appreciate it, Corey. And I thank you for being on and sharing. And I will, hold on, let me show you so I can scratch mine off.
Got his paper, he's documenting.
I will start documenting on paper because I'm a digital guy. So
do it. You'll see the difference. Trust me. Oh, I said trust me. Don't trust me. Just do it.
Just do it. Do it and show the results. That's the key.
Jeff, thanks, bro.
Cool. Well, everybody, thanks for coming on. And once again, I hope you the best of success with your business and look forward to seeing you on the next marketing strategy session.